It was a hot, humid summer day in the swamps of Louisiana when a group of hikers stumbled upon something they had never seen before. As they walked through the dense foliage, they suddenly heard a loud splash in the nearby river. A giant alligator, easily twice the size of any they had ever seen, was thrashing about in the shallow lake. As they approached the alligator, they noticed a large bulge on its belly. It was clear that something was inside, and the hikers couldn't resist the urge to find out what it was. What could possibly be inside this giant reptile? And what secrets did it hold? The hikers knew they had to find out, no matter the cost. But when a vet opened the animal to reveal what was causing the bulge, no one could believe what they saw. Kevin, David, and Harry had been friends since high school and loved doing adventurous things together. They were all seasoned outdoorsmen with a deep love and respect for the wilderness. The group of friends had spent countless hours hiking, camping, and fishing in the swamps, and they knew every inch of the land like the back of their hands. They were tough, resourceful, and never afraid to take on a challenge. And as they set out on their latest adventure, they had no idea that it would be the most dangerous and exciting one yet. The guys were deep in the swamps of Louisiana, exploring a part of the wilderness they had never been to before. They'd have been hiking for hours and were starting to get tired. But as always, the group of friends was determined to make the most of their trip, and they were excited to see what secrets the swamps might hold. But be careful with what you wish for, because this secret might be more than they could handle. As they walked through the dense foliage, they suddenly heard a loud splash in the nearby river. Curious, they decided to follow the sound and came upon a giant alligator sunning itself on the riverbank. It was unlike any alligator they had ever seen. It was easily twice the size of a normal alligator, and there was an unnaturally large bulge on its body. The hikers were both terrified and intrigued by the strange creature. They had never seen anything like it before. David convinced the others that they had to capture it and figure out what caused the bulge, but Kevin and Harry were hesitant. They knew it would be a dangerous task. However, Kevin was up for the challenge. Kevin approached the alligator cautiously, making sure not to startle it, and was relieved when it seemed to let him get close without attacking. He was always the more adventurous one and liked living on the edge. That's why it came as no surprise to the others that he was determined to get to the bottom of this mystery, no matter what it took. After some discussion, they decided to call a local veterinarian to come and help them. The vet arrived and carefully examined the alligator, determining that the bulge was actually a large, hard mass that seemed to be attached to the alligator's organs. The vet knew she had to operate to determine the cause of the mass and potentially save the alligator's life. The operation was a success, and the vet was able to remove the mass without causing any more harm to the alligator. But when she opened it up, no one could believe what they saw. Inside the mass was a piece of a car, a piece that had been reported stolen a few months earlier. The hikers were shocked and knew they had to alert the authorities. As they worked with the police to investigate the case, they discovered that the owner of the car had been reported missing at the same time as the car was stolen. They couldn't shake the feeling that there was a connection. They searched the swamps for any sign of the missing owner, and after weeks of searching, they finally stumbled upon a hidden cabin deep in the swamps. And inside it, they found the missing owner alive and well. What the owner had been through made them shiver. It turned out that the owner had been in a terrible car accident and had driven off the road into the swamps. He had survived for all these months by scavenging for food and shelter in the wilderness. The hikers were shocked and amazed by the man's resilience and determination. They knew they had to get him into safety as soon as possible. They carefully loaded the man onto a stretcher and set off towards the nearest town. It was a long and difficult journey, but they were determined to get the man the help he needed. As the water rushed around them, the hikers battled against the elements, determined to save the man's life. But what happened next was a true test of their bravery and strength. The hike was grueling, and the weight of the wounded man on their shoulders was beginning to take its toll. The hikers were exhausted and thirsty, and every step felt like a struggle. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, they reached the town and rushed the man to the hospital. The doctors were amazed by his condition. He was severely malnourished and dehydrated, but he was alive. The hikers were hailed as heroes for rescuing the missing man and bringing him to safety. And as they looked back on their strange and dangerous adventure, they couldn't help but wonder what other secrets the swamps of Louisiana might be hiding. They knew that they would always be ready to face whatever challenges came their way.